Good evening and welcome to the programme. I'm Victoria Hollins. Professional women in the capital are earning significantly less than their male counterparts. A major survey has found female managers are effectively working up to 60 days a year for free when their salary is compared to men doing a similar job. The findings, published by the Chartered Management Institute, are based on the response of around 70,000 UK managers and reveal how the gender pay gap is greatest in London. Here's Emma North.
London leads in so many ways, especially in the financial sector. But when it comes to management, salaries and the sexes, women are just like men, only cheaper. 72,000 managers across the UK told a survey how much they earned. In London, men working in management are likely to earn a little over £71,000 a year. Women earn just over £55,000. That's a difference of £16,000. And this, the survey claims, means women managers work on average 59 days a year for nothing. And the situation in London is worse than elsewhere.
We should be rewarding on the basis of the outputs and the outcomes rather than how many hours. Otherwise you end up in presenteeism and you're just judging the hours.
On the surface, these figures suggest that there is a big difference between the amount of money men and women are paid. But do they reflect a genuine gender bias, or is it just the case that men and women end up taking different career paths? Some argue women earn the same money for the same jobs. There just aren't as many of them in senior roles to boost the overall pay. And this is caused by something known as unconscious bias.
We prefer people who look like us, sound like us and have similar interests. And if you have an organisation that is run by white men, then almost inevitably you will perpetuate a board and a structure that is white men. So you have to work out how you break that unconscious bias in an organisation.
It's 3.5 decades since the first equal pay laws came into force here. Next year, the government wants firms with more than 250 employees to disclose fully what both men and women earn. It's hoped this will force some companies to finally address the pay gap. Emma North, BBC London News.
Well, I'm joined now by Anne Franker from the Chartered Institute of Management and Kate Adams from the think tank, the Adam Smith Institute. Thank you both for coming in. Anne, first of all, this is, on the face of it, a significant difference. To what do you attribute it?
Well, I think there are a number of factors, but fundamentally what we see is whilst women at entry-level positions are earning roughly the same as men, a discrepancy of 6%, we have a sort of a glass pyramid effect. So as they raise up the management ladder, there are fewer of them and they're earning far less than men. So at senior levels, we see that pay gap broaden. The average was 22%. It broadens to 35%.
But is it discrimination we're talking about?
Well, you know, there are many, many factors. Some are the choices that women make to have families. A lot of it is to do with what we call the glass obstacle course. So second generation gender bias.
This unconscious bias that we heard about in the report.
Exactly.
Is that a significant problem, do you think, Kate?
Well, today's CMI report suggests that they have compared men and women in the same jobs, doing the same kinds of work, and basically the same career across the board, and they have found that women are earning significantly less. I think on average it was 23%. But the reality is that the survey did not actually weigh men and women like for like. They didn't ask how many hours per week these men and women are working. Now what we...
Well, I have to interrupt there because we did do that, and it is an important point that Kate is making.
Well, I would just like to flag up that when I spoke to your press office today, not only are they not willing to release the survey, but they said point blank they did not. And actually the hours that were used to calculate the hours that were used to calculate their salaries were based on the average ONS's average working week, which is 37.5.
So Anne, this is just about the fact then that women work fewer hours than men?
No, because, and this is an important point, because what we did is we took the FTE equivalent. So if you were working part-time, and a lot of women do work part-time, more so than men, we took what you were earning and grossed it up to that full-time equivalent. And we must remember, and I think this is important, we are talking about managerial roles. And as we all know, managers tend to be on annual salaries rather than hourly wages. This does not look at an hourly wage. It looks at the annual salary.
So, Kate, the problem is deeper than this, then?
So that's the entire point, is that managers are working far more than what today's survey was calculated on. They're working far more than 37.5 hours a week.
But surely people should be paid on the outcomes of their jobs, not simply the face time they put in.
Well,
Absolutely.
it depends on what that face time is producing. Most bonuses are based off of not only time put in, but also the outcomes that are coming from it. And what we know is that men tend to work across the board 30% more a week than women do. This isn't a case, or today's survey at least, does not show that women are earning less because of employer discrimination. It shows that they're earning less because they work less hours. I am very open to have a debate about sexism in the workplace, but today's survey simply does not show that. The numbers just don't add up.
So what is it then?
I do think what we're doing here is getting a little bit hung up on, you know, the hourly thing. And what the survey is saying is that if you look at the bigger picture, what we see is more women graduating from university with better grades. They make up the majority of the entry-level workforce, so 67% of professional roles are to women. And those roles, and this is a very positive development, they're being paid roughly the same as men. The issue is, as you climb up the ladder, the culture, the presenteeism, as you said, the focus on face time rather than outcomes, mitigates against women staying in the workforce.
And these are cultural issues. Last word to you, Kate Andrews. You regard it as no problem, nothing needs to be tackled then?
Well, I just haven't seen the evidence for that. I'm very open to a discussion about potential sexism in the workplace, but today's survey hasn't released the information that they used to get those statistics, and it also hasn't used the numbers accurately. It's incredibly misleading.
Okay, I'm afraid we have to leave it there. No conclusion today, but thank you for your time. Thank you.
It's a 40-year-old survey. It's not misleading.
Thank you very much.